Kadosh, Boker Or, Masechet, Menahot, Daf Yamin, Daf Tum Bet, Amud Aleph, 52a1. Says the Gemara, we were just talking about the answer where we said that there was going to be two different takanot. Amar Ravashi comes and it says, right, Menachot 2, yeah, where it says the 52a, where it says that there were two different takanot. What exactly are the two different takanot? So he says, number one, he says, Midoraita. Ba mu'alin, yes. Midoraita ba mu'alin be'efra and mu'alin, which means that you're going to be mila in the paraduma, but not in the efer. But given the chazut, once they saw that they were mizalzel, v'ka'avdu mineh, and then they were doing right from it lemakatan for their own, meaning they were coming, they were making the efer for the amakad. You know that you take like ashes and you put it on a wound and it cures. So he says gazrube, so they made a gezerah of milah. Kevin the chazuk kamasham safek azol. So then they started coming and they started not doing safek memetim. So ukmo doraita, then they placed it back on the doraita. So tanu rabbanan. Okay, these are two dots. This is where we're starting today. Tanu rabbanan. Okay, we're 2, 4, 5 lines down. Tanu rabbanan. Par elem davar shel tzibur usirev de kochavim batchila magbin lahen. So at the beginning, they were going to collect for them the money. Tivra Rabbi Yehuda, these are the words of Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Shimon Omer, Rabbi Shimon says, "Mitumat alishka money." They're coming from Tumat alishka. So ask the Gemara Vatanya Ivcha, we learned the opposite. So he says, "Haiminai hu acharita." He says, which two of the brightot are the correct one? So Amru Rabbanan Kamed Ravashi Lema Kamaita Acharita. I'm going to say that the first braita is was the one that was said last. So therefore, that's why we have to be somech lalacha. The Shamina le Rabbi Shimon the Chayish Pshia, because we see that Rabbi Shimon was choshesh for the Pshia of the Kohen Gadol Shemet, right? Which means that sometimes we have this concept of Pshia. You know what Pshia is, yeah? Yeah? So he says, Amar lehu Ravashi. Ravashi says, Afilu tema batraita acharita. Even you're going to say the other way around. Ki kachaish, when does Rabbi Shimon is going to be choshesh for Pshia? Pshia is negligence. Beminta delepeu kapara begava, only if there's no kapara. Beminta but if there is going to be a kapara, so chayish Rabbi Shimon lepshia, he's not going to be choshesh for Pshia. So maya v'yela, so then what's the maskana then? So he says like this, Amar le Rabba zute le Ravashi, Tashema, the Tanya we learned in the Braita, et kolbani lechmi leishar yach lichuchi tishmenu להקריב למועדו, לרבות פר אלה דבר של ציבור וצירי עבודה כוכבים, שבאים מתרומת הלשכה, that they come from תרומת הלשכה, these are the words of Rabbi Shimon. Okay, fine. Two dots. Yeah, Amma Ushlema הייתה קרבה. Amar Rav Chia bar Abba, says Rav Chia bar Abba. Rav Yochanan comes and he asks, Shelema, when we have a Kohen Gadol that dies, right, and it's going to be brought the Shalem. You remember he had to bring a full Isaron, meaning the next Kohen Gadol, he has to bring a full Isaron, even if he took over in the middle of the day. Shachrit Ushlema ben Arbaim. It's going to be also in Ben Arbaim, or do you know, maybe we're going to say Shlema b'Shachrit to Betela Ben Arbaim. That it's going to be, it's not going to be brought at all in Ben Arbaim. Samarava Rava comes and he says, Tashema Shemini, the Kohen Shemini mitoch 13 Kohanim. Okay, that he was doing the Tamid Shel Shachar. B'Chavitim, he's going to grab the Chavitim of the Kohen Gadol. V'im ita de Betela Ben Arbaim. If you're going to tell me right now that it's Batel de Ben Arbaim, Hazim no, you're not going to have it then. Shmini b'chavitim yechadam. What's the case? Temet Kohen Gadol v'lo minu acher tachtav. If he died and they don't have another Kohen yet, right? I mean, he died and they didn't appoint another Kohen Gadol, which could happen. Remember, sometimes it could take a day or two. You understand?
But why does the new Kohen have to bring
Because every Kohen Gadol always has to bring a machatzita baboker, machatzita ba'erev of the Yisaron, of his minchat chavitim. No, every single day of his life. Yeah, every day he brings. So since he's bringing every single day, now he died in the middle. So now what is it? So you have to bring a full one again in the afternoon, but he only takes half of it. Meaning he has to bring the next one has to take a full one. Meaning the first guy came, he brought a full one. He takes half in the morning, and then in the middle, afterwards in the afternoon, whatever it was, in the middle of the morning, he dies. So they have to appoint another one. But once they didn't appoint another one, right? Until let's say the next day or whatever it is. That's what we're talking about. So Amrua Rabbanan Kamed Rabbi Yirmiyah, and he says like this: Amar Bavlai Tipshai. The Babylonians tipshim. Yeah? So he says, Shlipa Kemoshavam. Yeah? Mishum teyatvu be'atra de chashocha amre shmatata de machsheva. So he says, because they're dwelling in an eretz chashucha va'afela. Right? Why? That means basically they're in a dark place. So since they're in a dark place, that's why they're tipshim. Ela diktani, but rather that we learned, Shavi'i basolet. The seventh Kohen is doing the solet of the Minchat Amin, and the ninth one is doing the yain of the Nisket Amin. Hachanami de lo batle, what? It's not going to be batel. He says Minchat Amin Niskehem. What does that mean? Balayla. Michatav niskehem, even is the next day. Ela de'i lo ktani, but we're not learning the concept of if. De'i. If this is going to happen, sachanami, so to your de'i lo ktani, we don't learn that, if the Kohen Gadol dies, we're not learning ifs. It's like a theoretical thing. You know, a lot of times, right? I used to have a lot of rabbanim. They were very strong at that. You say, Rabbi, well, what if? They used to stop you right away. There's no what ifs. If something happens, so then call us. You understand? We'll deal with it. But not, what if, what if? There's no theoretical questions. You understand? What if? What ifs? First of all, you don't get siyata dishmaya. You know that. A rabbi, when he's doing psak halacha, there's always going to be a certain siyata dishmaya that he's not going to make a mistake in the psak. If he prays properly, that he shouldn't make a mistake. But if it's not a real psak, so he doesn't have that. But it's all theoretical. So it has to be something of la chalama. Yeah, it has to be something of la chalama said that all of a sudden something will happen. Understand? But if it's theoretical, it's not the same. So Adrua Kameh the Rav, they went and they said this in front of Rav. Amari says, "Mi bishuten amrod kamayim v'tivutan lo kamayim." He says, "What? Just like we say the reason why it's not proper." Okay, so maybe we're going to say the reason why it's good or not. Right? That means basically like this. That means basically we only hear like the bad stuff and not the good stuff. That's what he's trying to say. Meaning, you're going to say Bavlai Tepshai, yeah, that's what you're going to say, but you're not going to say the good things also. That's also the good thing. The what? Amarkra, Solimicha Tamid. Hadelecha Mincha Chavitin. So, what's the Maskana? Amar Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak, Tashema, we're going to try to bring a proof. Shlema Shachrit, Shlema Ben Arbaim. Okay, so you have to bring a full one in the morning and a full one in the afternoon. It's not going to be batel. So Rabbi Yochanan says, please, but it's actually machloket Abba Yosef ben Dosai v'Rabbanan. Abba Yosef ben Dosai Omer, he's going to say, mafrisha shnei kamatzil levona, you have to take a two kmatzim of a levona, of a frankincense, komet shachrit, or komet al merbayim, Rabbanan amrim, Rabbanan say, mafrish la komet echad, chatzi komet shachrit, v'chatzi komet al merbayim. B'may kami palgeh, what is the machloket between them? Abba Yosef ben Dosai, savar lo ashkechan komet the kariv, right? You never found a chetzi komet that's going to be brought. Rabbanan Savre and Rabbanan hold lo ashkachan isaron to buy shnei kmatzim. We never saw one isaron that needs two kmatzim of levona. So by Rabbi Yochanan, Kohen Gadol shemet v'lo minu acher tachtav. What happens if he dies and they didn't appoint somebody else? Nun bet amu bet 52b. According to the Rabbanan, uchpelal nevonata. You have to come and you have to put double of the frankincense or not? Mi amrinan. Do we say מתוך שהוכפלה סולתה, right? He comes and he says, הוכפלה לבונתה, or דילמר maybe, מאי דגלי, גלי, מאי דלא גלי, לא גלי, whatever was revealed, revealed, and whatever was not revealed, was not revealed. So says the Gemara, ושמן, בין לאבא יוסף בן דוסאי ובין רבנן מהו? What about שמן? What is according to Rabbi Yosef ben Dosai or ben Rabbanan? What do you say then? So Amarava, Tashemar, we're going to try to bring a proof. Chamisha kmatzim, and there's 5 kmatzim, v'imita, and if you're going to tell me, maybe there's going to be 7 kmatzim. Why? If he dies, then that'll become 7. So it says the same answer. Look, we're not gonna, again. If the guy dies, there's 5 kamatzim. It's true. If he dies, now it could become 7. But we're not going to say if there's usually 5. You understand? That's the norm.
Amira.
So now what happens is as follows. Yeah. So it says in the Gemara, right? We didn't speak about again the e. Right? What does that mean? Kilu that maybe he came and he died, right? So says the Gemara. Yeah, he comes and he says, Yativ Rav Papa v'kaman l'shmaita amalei, Yisrael l'shmaita Rav Papa v'ha ma'alei kometz b'chutz de'i hava. One second, the entire concept that if a person comes and he brings a kometz outside, that is also that maybe if he brings it outside, and we did learn it. So says the Gemara, "Mai havila, what's the maskana?" If he dies and then right and they did not appoint another Kohen Gadol under him, they still bring a full one in the morning and in the afternoon. And they're going to separate 2 kmatzin, komets of the shachrit, komets of membaim, and they're going to separate 3 login, 1.5 logs right in the morning and 1.5 logs in the afternoon. Who is this? Why is it that the levuna is going to be kaful, and why is it the shemen is not kaful? Meaning, why is it that the frankincense here we're going to bring 2 instead of the 1, but the oil you don't bring the double? But rather, Rabbi Yosef ben Dostaihi, is always going to be shnei kmatzin. And the levuna is not uchpela, and the shemen was no uchpal. Nothing was doubled. Everything was normal, right? The shemen le'abari b'yosef l'uchpela, it wasn't also doubled. Some Rabbi Yochanan says, "Alachazai kabe Yosef ben Nosai." The mincha kohen gadol, right? That he didn't die. You always need 2 kmatzim for levuna. One for the yisaron in the morning, one for the yisaron in the ben arbaim. So frankincense, you always need 2. Well, Miyam Rabbi Yochanan, does Rabbi Yochanan actually say that the alachazai kim? So he says. Right? He comes and he says like this. He says, "V'ha'amar Rabbi Yochanan al-chak istam mishnah." Utznan, and we learned in the Mishnah, Chamisha kmatzim, and there's going to be 5 kmatzim. So it says, Amorai nino Rabbi Yochanan. You're right, there's machloket Amoraim according to Rabbi Yochanan. Hadran alach atchelet. We're studying the next chapter, Perek Chamishi, 5th chapter, Numbet Amubet, 5th chapter, Mishnah. Kol menachot baot matzah. All the menachot is a matzah, except for the chametz inside of the korban todah. Remember, the korban todah had 40 loaves. 10 of the 40 was chametz. Shtei alechem is 100% chametz. That was brought on Shavuot. Shen baot chametz. Rabbi Meir says, haseor bodeh lahen mitochan u'mechametzan. So the seor, right, is going to come and it's going to um, from the two lechem, it's going to be mechamtzan. Rabbi Yehuda says, af hi eno mimuchar. It's not going to be mimuchar. Ela mevi et asor v'notnu lo mi'amida u'mi'amila et amida. So amrulo, they went and he said, af hi hayta chasera yoter. It's also going to be chasera yoter. So says the Gemara, by minei Rabbi Preda and Rabbi Yami. Minan lechol menachot shen ba'u matzah. How do we know that all the menachot come as matzah? So minalan, tichtiv ba, it's written. Ktiv ba de lo ktiv ba, ktiv ba, whatever is written, it's written. Whatever is not written, right? It's written Zot Torat Hamilcha. הקרב אותה בעיני אהרון לפני השם, לפני מזבח, ונתן ממנו יאכלו אהרון ומוניו, right? מצות